Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
The Guyana government challenging the outcome of a no-confidence motion in court. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Friday, January 4th. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. The David Granger administration on Friday filed a challenge in the High Court, fighting the outcome of a no-confidence motion that has left the country in limbo. It's asking the court to declare the motion, which passed 33-32, invalid on several grounds. The government's move followed a decision on Thursday by Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Barton Scotland, not to review the controversial vote. He ruled that the court should make the final determination. In that no-confidence motion piloted on December 21st last year by opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo in the 65-seat National Assembly, in which the opposition has 32 seats and the ruling administration 33, then government backbencher Sharandas Prasad sided with the opposition to give it the majority votes needed to pass the motion. Prasad, who left the country the morning after, has since been recalled as a member of the House and was on Thursday replaced by Barbara Patricia Pilgrim. Responding to questions from the media following the Speaker's ruling on Thursday, Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Basil Williams confirmed that government would immediately go the legal route. He said the challenge would be based on two factors. One is the legitimacy of Prasad's vote, given that he holds dual citizenship, which is unconstitutional for sitting members of Parliament. The other issue has to do with an interpretation of absolute majority. Government believes 34 and not 33 votes were needed for the motion to pass. Prime Minister Moses Nagamutu says the ruling by the High Court in this matter will set a precedent. We now go to Handel Duncan of HGP Nightly News, who reports on the Speaker's reasons for letting the court decide on the controversial vote.
Addressing the House, where the opposition seats were vacant, the Speaker explained that he has received information from diverse sources, both solicited and unsolicited, supported by case law and practice emanating from other jurisdictions, which has raised doubts as to whether the no-confidence motion was carried and by the margin of votes.
The information which I have received raises two issues. The first of these included a claim supported by several cases that the requirement for the successful passing of a no-confidence motion is a majority of the elected members of the National Assembly. That majority, it is contended, was to be formed by a mathematical half of the elected membership of the National Assembly, which is 65, plus the vote of one other member. Such a formula would require a majority of 34 votes instead of 33, by which the no-confidence motion was declared carried.
The conduct of Mr. Prasad and the vote was another issue. The contention was that Mr. Prasad was not a qualified elected member of the National Assembly and was not entitled to vote, given that he is a citizen of a foreign country. Another contention is that Prasad could not abandon the list from which he was extracted to support another list. It's on these grounds that the decision on the ruling of the vote by the Speaker was requested to be revisited and reversed. The contentions were tabled by the Attorney General, Basil Williams. The opposition People's Progressive Party had argued that the Speaker has no power to revisit and reverse any ruling he would have made. On this matter, the Speaker set the records straight.
That the authority with which the Speaker is clothed enables him to revisit any ruling which he has rendered. And if in doing so he forms the opinion that the ruling should not stand, he may reverse it.
In related developments, President David Granger has proposed January 9th as a date to meet with opposition leader Barrett Jagdeo on the no-confidence vote issue. Minister of State Joseph Harman said Granger had instructed him to write to Jagdeo, requesting the meeting for that date at 11 a.m. at the Ministry of the Presidency. Harman said the coalition government is also awaiting a response from Jagdeo about the matters he would like to be addressed at that meeting. Jamaica's Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton has confirmed the island is experiencing a dengue outbreak. He said Thursday that the number of cases has surpassed the outbreak threshold, and $250 million has now been set aside to deal with the crisis. Shamala Pulling of TVJ News reports.
At an emergency press conference at the Health Ministry in St. Andrew Thursday, Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says last year there were 7 dengue-related deaths, but only 2 have been confirmed. In December, 123 cases of dengue were recorded. The total includes suspected, presumed, and confirmed cases. Dr. Tufton says the number surpasses the outbreak threshold, which is 96.
Of 96 cases, so 96 cases for the month of December, and in this case, this last December, we had 123. This is the first month in the 2018 calendar in which the number of cases exceeded the outbreak threshold. As of today, 830 reported cases have been classified as suspected, presumed, or confirmed cases. The number of confirmed cases of dengue stands currently at 23.
Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bisesa Mackenzie says Kingston and St. Andrew recorded the highest number of dengue cases.
We have had an enhanced surveillance program going on, especially since we've been in the dengue season, and this means that we have daily updating of our numbers. So the cases coming on a daily basis, and they are assessed to see if they meet the case definition. So as of this morning, based on the updating of cases up to last night, we can say that we have passed the level.
Dr. Tufton says there will be extended opening hours at specific healthcare facility until 8 p.m. for persons who have symptoms of the dengue. Over 300 communities are considered vulnerable. Dr. Tufton says an additional $250 million will be allocated to support some of the enhanced measures to prevent dengue.
But in the particularly vulnerable communities, we intend to engage and privately contract private sector players who have the capability and who are in that line of business. We also are intending on hiring another 500 vector control aides. We have 500 currently in the system. We're going to double those numbers in collaboration with the HOPE program, again to create greater presence on the ground.
Staying in Jamaica, confirmation of a massive ticket fraud at one of the island's top tourist attractions, Dunn's River Falls. It was uncovered during an audit of the popular spot. We get the details in this TVJ News report.
At the current rate, Jamaican adults pay $1,000 to enter Dunn's River, and Jamaican children $500. What the audit is saying is that adults sometimes pay the set fee, but they get a children pass, implying that only $500 was collected. The remaining $500 is then stolen, and that's just for one person. Similarly, allegations are that some tourists get resident tickets even though they pay higher rates, and again, the difference is misappropriated. Adult tourists pay $23 to enter Dunn's River at current rates. That's roughly 3,000 Jamaican dollars. The allegation in the audit means that for every Jamaican ticket sold to a tourist at Dunn's River, about $2,000 is stolen sometimes. Resident ticket sales increased from 126,000 in 2016 to 210,000 in 2017, a 67% increase. Non-residents and prepaid tickets sales increased by 7%. To address the problems, the report recommends that Duns River records the identification information for each resident ticket sale and review daily reports. The audit also pointed out that some staff members have been independently buying and selling water shoes, and management sometimes tell employees when internal audits and surprise audits are being done. In one instance, the Information Technology Administrator instructed a team member to avoid the internal auditor. To fix the problem, the independent auditors recommend that management should not be told about surprise audits.
The Jamaican-owned Sandals Resorts International says it will be eliminating all styrofoam products from its 19 Sandals and Beaches resorts across the region. Deputy Chairman Adam Stewart said in a statement on Thursday that the move comes on the heels of the resort eliminating plastic straws, stirrers, laundry bags and gift shop bags last year. Sandals Resorts says eliminating styrofoam is another way the company is reducing its environmental footprint and improving the health of Caribbean communities. It says it will also explore opportunities to eliminate other plastic across its resorts by September this year. Still to come in Caribbean Newsline, the Bahamas government pushing to reform its financial services sector to avoid sanctions. Stay with us.
So the instruments you play the bass, what else?
First instrument I played was acoustic guitar.
Ah.
That's the first instrument I ever learned to play. Then I wanted to expand. My fingers were hurting, forming the chords.
Okay, okay.
So the bass has more width and more expansion.
Right, right.
And then I started practicing the bass from about 10. When I was about 10. So I played the bass at church. I went to school. I started to play the trumpet.
Ah, I used to play
the trombone,
huh.
the tuba.
Welcome back. The Bahamas government is pushing to reform the country's financial services sector in a bid to avoid sanctions, close loopholes, and strengthen business. Finance Minister Peter Turnquest has been given details of the latest initiatives and the implications for business. We get more from ZNS Network News.
To enrich the financial service sector, the government of the Bahamas has sought to develop a new framework aimed at reinforcing industry regulations and protecting revenues to the public treasury. The Minister of Finance explained what the financial reform framework will accomplish with effect January 1st, 2019.
It will remove any difference in the fiscal treatment of financial institutions that cater primarily to domestic markets and those financial institutions that cater to international clientele. This is essential to removing the preferential treatment of specific businesses as implemented under the recently passed Removal of Preferential Exemptions Act 2018.
Framework for the new reform proposes that financial institutions, to include a myriad of entities, will be exempted from paying business license fees when renewing or applying for a license, and that's starting January 2020. Here's what the Minister of Finance said those exempted would have to do in lieu of the business license fees.
All financial institutions will pay a flat registration fee, which will be set on a sliding scale between $2,250 and $250,000 per annum, although small institutions like credit unions will pay a much lower fee, as is currently the case. 2, all financial institutions that are deemed systemically important, as determined by their degree of integration into the domestic financial system, will be subject to an additional fee in respect of Bahamian dollar liabilities and contingencies. This reflects the need to mitigate the threat that any domestically systemically important institution can pose to the entire Bahamas financial system.
Mr. Turnquest said it is important to strike the right balance between economic sustainability and compliance with international standards.
The British Virgin Islands has become the latest Caribbean territory to pass legislation that addresses concerns raised by the European Union. Premier and Finance Minister Dr. Orlando Smith says the Economic Substance Act 2018 was passed in Parliament last month ahead of the December 31st deadline, but it took effect on January 1st this year. St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Grenada have already passed similar legislation, and other Caribbean countries are contemplating doing so as Europe moves to force countries to adopt measures regarding the establishment of international businesses in the region. St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has already called for a unified CARICOM position on the matter. The EU is compiling a list of non-cooperative jurisdictions on the basis of certain criteria it has set covering tax transparency, fair taxation and compliance with the OECD's base erosion and profit shifting requirements. The BVI Premier says his government has engaged closely with EU officials over the last 18 months to understand and address the concerns that have been raised, and it has consulted on a regular basis with representatives of the financial services industry. Veteran Trinidadian calypsonian Calypso Rose has been included in the lineup of popular music festival in the United States, Coachella. She will join the likes of Ariana Grande, Tame Impala, Childish Gambino, Janelle Monáe and Idris Elba at the event, which runs from April 12th to 21st in California. She'll perform on the opening day and again on April 19th. Calypso Rose started writing songs at the age of 15. She has since composed more than 800 songs and recorded more than 20 albums. In 2017, her album Far From Home won the World Music Album of the Year at the 32nd Annual French Music Awards ceremony. Ahead in Newsline Sport, a call for Richard Pybus's appointment as West Indies head coach to be rescinded. We'll tell you who's making the call and why after the break.
What was it like going to Africa and performing in Africa?
Well, you see, Africa is a very hopeful place. You know, when I went to Africa, that's where I really had hope now that something good can come out of all of this, you know? Because in Africa, we see the potential to create the world that we envision.
Follow your heart to St. Kitts and make plans to join us at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 5 days of world-class entertainment from Wednesday, June 26th to Sunday, June 30th, 2019. See Buju Banton live as he makes his epic return to St. Kitts. Also, French Montana and Davido. Popcorn and the legendary Smokey Robinson. This is just the first wave of announcements. Many more acts to come. For more information, log on to stkitsmusicfestival.net. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Barbados, renowned for its pristine beachfront and fantastic weather, continues to leave quite an impression on newcomers to the island and returning visitors. The Caribbean island, quite popular as a vacation hotspot, is not only beautiful due to its natural aesthetics. The island of Barbados continues to grow in popularity because of unique connections developed with our people, our culture. We can't wait to welcome you.
Continuing with sports now, Leeward Islands Cricket Board President Enoch Lewis has called for Richard Pybus's appointment as interim West Indies men's coach to be rescinded after accusing Cricket West Indies President David Cameron of hand-picking the Englishman and ignoring the best practices of transparency, fairness and due process. In a strongly worded letter to CWI dated December 16th last year, he labelled Cameron's actions unfortunate, unacceptable and unethical, and expressed profound disappointment, dissatisfaction and dismay over the total disregard shown for the procedure by which Pybus was selected. According to the letter, a copy of which was obtained by CMC Sports, Director of Cricket Jimmy Adams recommended to the CWI Board of Directors last September that the interim head coach be chosen from among a list comprising Nick Pothas, Roddy Estwick, Floyd Reefer, Gus Logie, Desmond Haynes, Toby Radford, Andre Cooley, Iswan Crandon, Stuart Williams, Raymond Griffith and Robert Samuels. Lewis contended in the letter that the negotiations conducted by with Pybus by Cameron were without pre-authorization and input from the board. He said neither the Director of Cricket, nor the Cricket Committee, nor the Technical Cricket Committee was consulted on the initiative to engage or negotiate with Pybus. Lewis reminded that Cricket West Indies consistently claimed to be a highly transparent organization in response to doubts and allegations raised recently by some prime ministers in the region and other stakeholders. He said Cameron's recruitment of Pybus was unusual for several reasons, because the Englishman had not formally expressed an interest in the post. He has limited international head coaching experience. He has not coached an international cricket team for at least the past 5 years. He is not among the list of coaches identified by the Director of Cricket and previously approved by the board for consideration. Well, despite mounting criticisms from regional cricket personalities, Cricket West Indies has confirmed Pybus's appointment as interim head coach. In a release on Friday, it said that Pybus will lead the technical team for the upcoming visit of England, the Triangular Series in Ireland, the 2019 Cricket World Cup, and the visit of India in July and August. But CWI noted that it has already approved a succession planning program for regional coaches and is conducting a regional search to appoint a long-term head coach for the Windies men's team from September 2019 onwards. Reacting to his appointment, Pybus said he is looking forward to working with Captain Jason Holder and the Test and ODI teams, as well as Carlos Brathwaite and the T20I team as they continue to build Windies cricket. Director of Cricket Jimmy Adams says Pybus possesses a good working knowledge of players and coaches as the team prepares for important home series against England and India, with the 2019 World Cup to be played between those series. Switching sports, former special advisor to the Trinidad and Tobago Football Association, Jack Warner, says he'll not be silenced on matters relating to football. Warner, who quit international football in 2011 following allegations of corruption among the rank and file of FIFA, made the comment as he weighed in on the state of football in the Twin Island Republic. TV6's Sergio Dufour tells us more.
Former FIFA Vice President Jack Warner had a lot to say about local football. He believed the national football team has slipped dramatically since the 2006 World Cup.
When you reach the stage where this country is struggling to beat Caribbean teams, something has to be wrong. But most importantly, when you reach the stage where a football association, after 6 occasions, could not call an annual general meeting, something has to be wrong.
Warner also criticized the current TTFA president David John Williams by saying the organization lacks leadership and a plan.
But you can't be a Jack Warner. You can't be an Ollie Camps. You can't be an Eric Williams. You can't be a Muhammad Ali. These are, I'm not saying that we're in the same level with them, but I'm saying these are individuals who have set their own pattern and made their own paths. And today in football, there is no such person.
Warner also didn't spare the footballers or the Pro League.
What is important in football right now, it's not the depth the TFA has, but it's the standard of play, it's the quality of play. And once you're playing good football, funds will come, sponsors will come. But you cannot expect to have everybody asking you, how much you go pay me? And they can't trap a ball, they can't pass a ball. Oh. Where's the Pro League, for example? The only thing professional about the Pro League is the name Pro. There's nothing professional. Who today will pay $1 to see a player play in the Pro League? Call for me 5 players in the Pro League of substance.
Warner thinks that there is a need for a 4-year plan that includes a focus on the under-17 and under-20 football levels. He says without that development, Coach Dennis Lawrence will need a miracle to make an impact.
There's nothing like bomb. Sometimes miracles happen, right? And who knows, a miracle might happen. Unless that happens, he will fail. Unless a miracle happens in football, he will fail.
Despite being before the court on several matters, including a current extradition case, Warner says he has no intentions to stop talking about football-related matters.
Nobody, but nobody, can stop me, ever, from speaking on football matters. Nobody, right? I have called over 30, 40 years in football, and nobody, I will repeat you slowly, nobody can ever stop me from speaking on football.
Sergio Dufour, TV6 Sport.
And that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
Follow your heart to St. Kitts and make plans to join us at the 23rd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival. 5 days of world-class entertainment from Wednesday, June 26th to Sunday, June 30th, 2019. See Butcher Banton live as he makes his epic return to St. Kitts. Also, French Montana and Davido. Popcorn and the legendary Smokey Robinson. This is just the first wave of announcements. Many more acts to come. For more information, log on to stkitsmusicfestival.net. The St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
So we rely on journalists like you to tell us what's going on. So please tell us what is going on.
That's quite an expectation. Maybe I will not be able to. Look, it's true. It's true that we are, when it comes to the struggle against Israeli domination and.
The major developments of this day: the Guyana government files a legal challenge to the outcome of last month's no confidence motion. And in sport, the Leeward Islands Cricket Board president calls for Richard Pybus's appointment as interim West Indies head coach to be rescinded, but Cricket West Indies stands by its decision. And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, subscribe to CanaNews.com, and for more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again on Monday, but from all of us at CNC News, thank you for watching and have a good night and a safe weekend.